What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we are finally finishing the divisional predictions. We're going to cap it off with the AFC West, and not to mention Zeke is going to be on the field hopefully against the Giants on Sunday. I can't wait! And to celebrate that, I'm going to drink a little whiskey today, a little Glenlivet 12. Special bottle. My dog ate my cork, so I have this little cork deal. Yeah, don't get dogs. It's one of my favorite whiskeys to celebrate a year to the Super Bowl. It's a good whiskey. Woo! A little scotch. Cool. Well, to kick it off, man. To kick it off, we're going to start with the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff is getting $25 million a year. They just paid him this week. Was that yesterday, I think? Yeah, I paid him yesterday. $150 million, I think. Or something like that. Maybe $100 million. No, it was $100 million for 4 years. So $25 million a year for Jared Goff. Is he worth that? I think he is. I don't think he's a top 10 guy in the league, but I think he's going to be one of those guys that is going to be around for 10 or 15 years playing at a high level. Todd Gurley fell off late last year for the Rams. Real question is he going to come back and actually contribute and be a good player here this year? We'll find out. I'd like to think that he would, but kind of a rough playoff run and a rough Super Bowl. They have a great wide receiver core. They got Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods. Cooper Kupp's really good. He got hurt last year, but he will be back this year. I really like Cooper Kupp. Tyler Higbee, a tight end, whatever, just a regular tight end. They have top 10 O-line led by Andrew Whitworth. They lost 2 key starters last year, so there could be a possible, or this year, sorry, so there could be a possible drop-off with the Rams. But they did add 2 new guys as well and a draft pick. On the other side of the ball, the defense is still stacked. They had a Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle in the offseason. Both those guys are past their primes, but they're still good players. They're still going to contribute. I think Eric Weddle right now is a better player where he's at in his career than Clay Matthews. That's just my take on it. And then they got the best defensive tackle in the game, Aaron Donald. Nobody can touch Aaron Donald. He's a beast. And, their pass rush is going to be great like always. They also have a pretty good secondary as well. Keith Talib, Eric Weddle, those guys. So my prediction for the Los Angeles Rams this year is 11-5. I think they're going to win the division, and they have a chance to be a second seed in the NFC next to the Saints or Philadelphia. If not, there'll be a wild card. There'll be a divisional winner and a wild card team. So next up, we got the second team in the NFC West that I think can be a playoff team potentially, the Seattle Seahawks. Doug Baldwin's going now, so Tyler Lockett's the guy. And if you look at their wide receiver group, Tyler Lockett's really it. The rest of the guys you never really heard of. They got DK Metcalf, but on the depth chart, he's like 5th, so I don't even know if he's going to get touches, which kind of worries me because I got him in my fantasy. So it's Tyler Lockett this year and Russ, and their offensive line is still bad. They're not good. They've been bad ever since Russ has been in Seattle. Their offensive line has not been very good, so they're going to rely on him to make plays just like always. I have no worries that he will make those plays, but you don't want to see Russ get injured by taking too many hits. They led the league in rushing yards last year with Chris Carson and Rashawn Penny. So those guys will both be back this year, so we'll see what they can do on the run side of the ball. They got Nick Van Ette at tight end. That's an Ohio State guy right there. He's a decent tight end. We'll see what he can do. On the other side of the ball, big trade this week. The Houston send Jadeveon Clowney to the Seahawks. We're talking about the Seahawks defense, who's already stacked as it is. And then we're going to add Jadeveon Clowney, and then they add Ziggy Ansah in free agency. They had anybody else? No, they didn't have anybody else. But they got the, you already added that freaking D-line that's stacked already. And then you add Ziggy Ansah and Jadeveon Clowney. They have probably the best linebacking core in the league with Michael Kendricks, Bobby Wagner, and KJ Wright. Their secondary is pretty good with Trey Flowers and Shaquille Griffin. Seattle's going to be a solid team this year. Whether they're a playoff team, it just kind of depends on who the other two wildcard teams are and what their record is. I have them predicted right now at 9-7, and I think they'll miss the playoffs. I think they'll split the games with the Rams, and they'll sweep the Niners and Cardinals. A lot of these teams in the NFC, man, there's a lot of good teams this year that are not going to make the playoffs. I think, 10-plus NFC teams are actually good football teams this year, maybe even 12. And 4 to 5 of those teams are going to miss the playoffs. Good teams are going to miss the playoffs this year. So, 9-7, miss the playoffs. Now, they could win the division too, and then obviously they'd be good there. Next up, we got the 49ers. Jimmy G is back. Is Jimmy G legit? Did they pay him too early? After what I saw last year in the first couple games he played before he got hurt, I really didn't like what I saw out of Jimmy G. I really didn't like what I saw out of him in preseason, but it's preseason, so we can't put too much emphasis on that. George Kittle, dude, he's a growing star. I really like George Kittle. I got him in a fantasy league. He was a beast last year. He's really turning into one of the top young tight ends in the league. Matt Breida has the potential to be a star as well. He had a great year last year. Will he have another good year? They have a decent wide receiver core with Marquise Goodwin and Dante Pettis. Their O-line's middle of the pack. Nothing's going to blow you away. And then on the other side of the ball, they draft Joey Bosa on the defensive line, but is he going to be good early, and is he even going to play? Joey Bosa's had that injury last year at Ohio State. You Ohio State fans know all about that. So he missed pretty much the entire season last year. He's had injuries in camp. He's had injuries in the preseason. So, we don't even know if Joey Bosa is going to be on the field week 1, and is he even going to play the whole season? Or, sorry, Nick Bosa, not Joey Bosa. He's another one. Injuries, too, the brothers. But, we don't really know what Nick Bosa is. Was he worth that top 2? Did they pick him second? Yeah, I think second overall pick. Was he worth it? I don't know. We'll find out. Pretty average defense everywhere else, minus Richard Sherman. I don't expect too much out of him on that side of the ball. With the Niners, man, with Kyle Shanahan, my prediction, I think they can win some games. My gut says they'll go 8-8. That's what I think, and that's what I just think they'll do. I have to look at it. How did I predict the other teams playing against the Niners in my previous predictions? And if I go off that, my prediction is 4-12. But I see the Niners surprising some people this year with their record. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're a playoff team yet. But I think, if Jimmy G can play like we've seen him play and not make those questionable decisions, and Kyle Shanahan can get this offense going, and this defense can just be decent, I think they can win 8 or 9 games. I don't think they're a playoff team now, but I think in the future, San Francisco, the future's looking bright for San Francisco as long as Jimmy G is the savior in the Bay. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, my prediction, I'm going to say 4-12 because I'm going to go off my previous predictions, but I like them to go 8-8. And, I think they have the potential to go 8-8. Okay, so next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler, number 1. Was he worth the number 1 pick? I don't really think so, man. I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan. I don't like his size. He can make the throws. A lot of people say, well, look at Russell Wilson. Well, Russell Wilson's once in a generational player, man. Guys like that don't come around very often. And just because he's close to the same height as Russell Wilson doesn't mean he's going to be Russell Wilson. It doesn't mean he has the ability of Russell Wilson. Just because they were 2 number 1 draft picks in the major leagues doesn't mean that they're the same player just because they're both baseball players and they're both short guys who like to run around and throw the ball. It doesn't make them the same. Johnny Manziel was the same way. We see him come to the league and he's a bust. I understand he had stuff going on up here, but you look at RG3, who's a mobile quarterback. You look at these guys who are mobile quarterbacks. We don't really know about Lamar yet. Lamar could be great. He could be a bust. It'll take another couple years to figure him out. So I'm not really big on Kyler Murray. I want to see it first. I like Christian Kirk a lot. He's going to be their slot receiver this year. He's a burner, dude. Christian Kirk is a beast. He should get a lot of touches. Fitz is aging. I don't think Fitz has much left, man. I think he's maybe got, a couple years left. David Johnson's healthy this year, and he should be back. We'll see how he does. He's normally one of the top backs in the league when he's healthy. They got Charles Clay at tight end, nothing crazy. The big thing on the other side of the ball is Patrick Peterson is suspended for the first 6 games, I want to say for a PED violation. So that's definitely going to hurt that secondary. But they did add Terrell Suggs and Jordan Hicks from the Eagles, Terrell Suggs from the Ravens in the offseason. But Terrell Suggs obviously passes for prime. One of the best players we've ever seen on the defensive side of the ball. Jordan Hicks, pretty good linebacker, so he should help out. They have a pretty decent secondary with Budda Baker, DJ Swearinger, and they're pretty decent even without Patrick Peterson. When Pat Pete comes back, they're going to be even better. But my prediction for the Cardinals, man, just being in that division and the NFC, and they have a tough schedule, it's 3-13. I'm not big on the air raid working in the NFL. We've never seen it before. Working in the NFL, I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to need a year or 2, 3 to figure out what he can do against these NFL defenses. You're not going up against freaking Kansas defense. You're going up against defenses like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Saints. You got defenses like that. So the Rams. When you're going up against these defenses, this isn't the air raid against. This isn't the air raid against the freaking Kansas Jayhawks. So I don't like it for the Cardinals this year. Their future, I don't know about, but my prediction is 3-13. All right, guys, sweet. So that'll wrap up my NFL divisional predictions series videos, whatever you want to call it. I really enjoyed it. Tomorrow on Facebook, Instagram, I'm going to be uploading just a quick, maybe 1-minute video on my Super Bowl pick. Did Zeke signing? Maybe, am I going to pick the Cowboys? I feel like I can't do that, man. I feel like that'd be a little bit too much homework. I think we got a good shot, though, now. I like what we're doing if Zeke's going to play the whole year. But, yeah, I'll have that up tomorrow on Facebook, Instagram. And then later on this week, probably Saturday. Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to break down my fantasy teams that I got. I'm just going to go show you guys who's on my teams, who I'm looking forward to watching, and things like that. And then, just going to start breaking down more sports, UFC fights, stuff like that. But I've really enjoyed these 8 videos now. It's been a grind. I thank you guys for watching. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And as always, drink responsibly. Check out some Glenlivet. God, I can't say it. Glenlivet single malt Scott whiskey. It's a good whiskey. It's like a $35, $40 bottle, depending on where you're at. It's good whiskey, man. I really like it. Woo! Be good, y'all.